She just wanna work and pay her bills. Fuck up on a man who keep it real.
That's right.
She just want her girls to know the deal.
They do.
She just told her boss just how she feel.
Fuck you.
She just hit the club up on a Thursday.
Twerk, twerk,
Told the bartender I ain't feeling thirsty. Took a couple shots just like it's her birthday. Hit the tree.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another amazing episode of We Don't Sip Tea, We Drink Wine. Now, I'm your girl, Miss JLH, and this is another dope episode that I have for you today. Today, we have local Nashville talent, Cam Mitchell in the building. What's up, Cam? I didn't want to just limit you to an author because you do a lot of things.
Yup, man, listen, all over the place.
Yeah, you act out here, you're a poet, like you do a lot of things. You're a teacher, like you're, you out here.
yeah, listen, I'm here where the trap be.
Yes. So introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are, where you're from, and what you're about.
Yes, I'm Cameron Mitchell, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. And, I've been out here living in Nashville for a minute. So my main thing is spoken word poetry and acting. I do a lot of theater acting as well as film. And so I've been really full-time since 2016. And since then, just been, teaching poetry, teaching, the arts, performing arts, got a chance to travel. Last year with my wife, we did a travel to Japan, Tanzania, and Germany. So I'm actually representing the Tanzania poetry group right now.
That's
and so,
now y'all were traveling doing poetry or doing acting?
Yeah, traveling doing poetry. So I actually got to do both last year. Crazy. So last summer, my wife and I did a poetry tour. It was our world tour. So we did poetry performance in Japan, in Tokyo, and in Osaka, Japan.
Dang.
We got to do a performance in Tanzania, and then we finished off with a performance in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that was like life changing for real. I mean, to go to like 3 different continents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In just a matter of like, I think she counted was like 42 or 47 days or something like that. Yeah. And then I came back and because we had just shot a film here. And so the director hit me up. He was like, "Hey, what you doing in November?" I was like, "Nothing. I just got back." He was like, "All right, we're going to do the premiere for the movie we just shot." I'm like, "Okay." Normally he does his premieres in Murfreesboro. And he was like, "Yeah, we're going to do it in Curacao, though." I was like, "The Caribbean island?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, that's dope. I ain't got no money, though. I just got back. Like, we ain't got no money. And, but my wife was like, "Man, like this your first premiere, you gotta go. So I was like, "All right, we're gonna try to figure it out. We're gonna have to like grind super hard." And so I'm looking up tickets, and I was like, "What day?" Gotta make sure because I don't want to like get the wrong thing. He was like, "Oh no, don't worry about all that. Curacao gonna pay for it." I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "Yeah, Curacao gonna take care of the flights and hotel and all that." I was like, "Oh man, you should have led with that. I'm open all November. You can have Thanksgiving if you want to. Family will be all right." Listen, like, I'm in there. So, yeah, we got to do the film premiere in Curacao, the Caribbean island. So, it's actually a small island off the coast of Venezuela, like South America. Yeah, and that was super cool. They put us up in a 5-star hotel on the beach. We premiered it. Everybody enjoyed it. They loved it. So, yeah, family's doing good.
Fire. That's so fire. How did it feel to travel with your poetry?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. That right there was a highlight. I mean, because that's something that a lot of people dream about, but don't always get a chance to do. And it was just like the timing was just perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because my wife and I've been grinding throughout the years. I mean, we're not rich, and we're not signed to anybody. So we've been out here basically like we're gonna create our own opportunities and make it. And so to have that opportunity where we set the goal, make the plans, talking to people. You know, I got to study abroad in Japan back in college. So, you know, just over the years, I've met people around the world. So I just hit up people. They connected me with some folks. And before we knew it, we had a tour.
Let's talk about that because, like, I love that you said, you know, you've networked a lot and a lot of those people were from college. How important is it to network, especially as an artist and a poet?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, because especially if you are not coming from a family or you know connections that's like rich or they already got those connections in Hollywood or whoever, you that's all you got right now is the connections. We don't got the money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we did find some funding, like we found some grant funding and stuff like that that also helped. But it was really the connections that got us to perform in those places. And so, man, I mean, is when they say it's like 6 degrees of separation, that's so real. I mean, one person I knew in Japan, I went to school with her and she sings. She connected me with somebody, and boom, we had a performance in Japan. But then that connection also connected us to the university, so we got to do some workshops at the university.
Wow.
You know, a guy I met here in Nashville, he moved to Tanzania.
Wow.
So we was just like we just wanted to go to Africa. We was like we don't care where, just who do we know that's in Africa? So I hit him up on Instagram. He was like, "Yo, I know some people. Connect me with them." Boom, and we had an artist in resident program in Tanzania, and
That's
then
so fire.
same thing with Germany. So yeah, the connections is everything. That's a live stream. If you're trying to do anything art, anything entrepreneurial, really, that's what I feel like.
How do you think people can go about finding those connections? What is your advice for them?
Man, honestly, it's definitely gonna be like getting out here, just like a lot, you know, the social events that go on in the city. I try to go to them, especially you know if I'm performing, that's already a social event. So I like to connect with the people that come to my events that's around me because you know we can help each other. So I'm like, okay, you got something going on. You know, it may not be right now. Like the guy in Tanzania, he was a videographer, so we never actually worked together, but just knowing each other and keeping connection. And it was like years later that connection actually came to something.
Yeah.
So I love to just like talk to people, you know, even just like check in, see how people doing, because you just never know how that's going to advance. Because I feel like everybody is always moving up. So the person you connecting to today, they might not be the CEO today, but it's like you're meeting them before they get there. And personally, I feel like that's better because they gonna be like, I knew you back then, so I got you when I get on.
Yeah. So I feel that completely. It's a few people that I've interviewed already who weren't like blown up at the time and they were just starting out a little bit and then they got bigger and I was like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, man.
So it's so fire. Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how was the poets and the poetry out in other countries? Did you get to mingle a little bit there?
Yeah, you know, in Japan, I didn't get to meet a lot of poets. You know, I met different artists. I did meet some singers, you know, different people that play instruments and stuff. So that would be super dope to be able to take more poetry out to Japan, because you know it's still a very new, just artistic exploration area. So they don't have a lot of stuff we still doing over here. But Tanzania, they definitely got a really cool thing going on. I mean, they got the spoken word, you know, they got their own style of things that they do. And then of course they was doing in Swahili. So, you know, I got to actually write a little something in Swahili. It's probably not the greatest, but you know, I got a little something.
That's fire.
That was really cool, man. They got a really cool community. I love connecting with them. You know, I'm still keeping in touch with them. So I'm praying that we able to go back. You know?
That's fire. When you said Japan, I always think because I don't think of Japan or any Asian country really as an artistic place or about art or just. I don't think of a lot of places outside of the United States that focuses on creativity as much as we do, to be honest. Not saying that they don't,
Right.
But I just know that we heavily focus on the arts here,
Yeah.
whereas a lot of other countries focus on education and in other realms of outside of art, you know, being a doctor, a lawyer, a banker, whatever the case may be, you know,
Yeah.
a heavy focus, especially in like Asian cultures. Did you feel that out there or?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, for sure. Because honestly, it was really like the black community that we connected with in Japan that
Wow.
was help. Yeah, that's what's crazy. So my friend who's over there, she's black. She's a black female singer. You know, she's from Nashville, but like her mother lived out there, so she got a chance to go out there. And she connected me with the black community in Japan. So we got a chance to do this Juneteenth performance. So to be able to celebrate Juneteenth in Japan and doing poetry for that, that was just like that was a highlight right there. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah,
Right.
I don't think I really just ran into a whole lot of like Japanese people that were real artistic. Most of the people who meet were black.
Oh, wow.
And then yeah, same thing with Tanzania. I mean, Africa obviously is, you know, black, but and then Germany, we met a lot of black people out there too. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't think they got some cool creative looking stuff, but I can't think of like creative arts like that outside of just like paintings. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think about that, but you know, the US is kind of on that wave as of now, right? As
Yeah,
as of now too. We're getting into that space of, you know, getting rid of the arts, getting rid of creativity,
yeah,
buckling down back to, you know, certain times and things.
yeah.
How important is art and writing and being creative to you, and why is it important, do you think?
Yeah, honestly, man, it's for me, it's the essential. I mean, you know, I made the decision a long time ago to like make this a career path. And especially it's crazy, definitely coming from trying to do the science. I was doing aerospace at first in college, so it
Wow.
was a huge. I know, crazy. It get me when I think about it. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's it was a jump. But man, I can say though, in doing the arts, man, I would never go back. Like I still love flying. I wouldn't mind doing it every now and then, but like a day to day, every day, I'm content doing this.
Mhm.
And you know, I've learned though, art is not just a secondary hobby when it comes to the world. Like if art went away, would be good. Like nah, honestly, we probably kind of die off pretty quick
Wow.
because they were saying like honestly, art shapes culture.
Mm.
And so what happens is the artist creates the art. That art gets put into the newspaper. The newspaper is read by the government, the official people, all that, who are the people that make the laws.
Mm.
So, in essence, art is the reason why things are being shaped. So, that's why I'm learning it's essential, especially for people like us who are black, you know, who have the other perspectives to make that art. Because if only one perspective is being told, that's basically how history gets created because of the art. Somebody painted a picture or told a poem or wrote a film, whatever, a book, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that became the narrative, the newspaper, and then the law. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's a great point. I mean, I can think of a few examples. You know, so uh Sojourner's Truth's poem, Am I a Woman or Ain't I a Woman? You
Yep.
know, that made a huge difference in women's suffrage, especially for women of color voting. And
Yeah.
then also, you know, Birth of a Nation, that film set the tone
Yeah.
for how we look at Black America as savages or, you know,
Yeah.
these evil things, or just the depictions of Black people back then with the certain cartoons that they would make with our lips bigger than what they,
Yeah.
you know. So those images definitely stuck around and also gave a certain depiction of Black America. But then when you had us coming into the picture of our own depictions of certain things, that started to turn around some things as well.
Oh yeah.
How important is it for you to share Black art, and what are some of your advice for upcoming Black artists?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like think about what you were saying. I feel like it's super essential for us to really do that because, like, I appreciate a lot of the films and shows I've watched coming up, but like Black Panther, amazing movie, amazing, art, Blade, all these different characters, even I watched the show Alex Cross on Amazon Prime. That joint was fire. But all of these artworks were created by a white man.
Mm.
Now there were some help from Black people, but these are still creations from a white man. And I'm not saying nothing was wrong with that person. They did a great job and they gave us stuff that we really like. I still like all those things, but I also think it's really important for us to shape our own narratives. You know what I'm saying? Show our own diaspora. Like, yeah, we have the slave movies. Yeah, we have the movies about segregation. Yeah, we have the movies about, what we came up in the gang life, because we still need to tell them stories too. People need to know what happened. But I also feel like where I'm at now, I want to not only tell the past stories, I want to shape what the future can look like. You know what I'm saying? I want to create new theatrical plays, books, films and stuff that our people can enjoy, and I can bring a new perspective of what we can choose to look like, be like, act like, versus everything we are is coming from another culture's perspective of us. And then we're just like, well, since they look like us, I guess we'll just make that ours. Because me and my wife were just walking through the mall and we realized, like, especially in Nashville, and we only probably shop at 10% of these stores because they're not for us.
Yeah.
So, like, we basically got to pass by like 20 of them before we get to one we really just looking at, So just imagine if you have more malls where like every store is something you want to go into, or imagine when you go to the movies, all the movies represent you, but like in different forms. So like how you said, think about the woman's struggle, but then also what could the woman become? Because women have to fight so much talking about the struggle because ain't nobody listening. But then it's like, what does it become when a woman gets a chance to create something she wants to, and then she just gets to be? She ain't gotta be questioned about, is this good work, or are the female actors gonna be good enough? Can they be paid enough? Like, imagine the female actors being paid enough, and the creative person actually creating something so massive that all the young girls like it, and then it completely shifts the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of stuff I feel like we looking for, that we need, and especially coming into the 21st century. Like, we're still in the beginning of the 21st, and it's like, how do we shape this the way they shaped the first 20th century? Like when Harlem Renaissance come up, and then the other eras and stuff, and we see the 70s with hip hop and R&B and all these things came out of the last century. So what are the new genres of music? What's the new genres of film or poetry or just whatever? Like, I'm yeah.
No, I love that because I'm also been focusing on what's the next cultural shift. This past few years has felt like a rebirth of a renaissance, in some sort of a Black renaissance, with certain things that we've had come out lately, or certain things that have been pushed towards us and focused on the Black community. But at the same time, I still feel like there's something missing. So yeah. What do you feel like is next for us, or should be the next push?
Man, I don't know. I think it's hard to see because social media, I think in a ways is doing good and bad for us, because social media is allowing us to like see different things outside of our own cities. So I know personally, coming from Memphis, it feel like we in a bubble. Like the rest of the world on a different wave, and Memphis is kind of, you know, we wearing the same clothes, same shoes, listen to the same music. You don't do nothing. Like I remember senior year of high school, I was trying to get some new shoes. I was like, man, I think I might rock some Timbs or something. Everybody was like, no, you can't rock some Timbs. We wear polo boots around here. What you mean? It was polo boots, Forces, and J's. You don't wear nothing else, right? They're like, man, I want to wear some of those though. I'm tired of the same stuff, man. But I got some polo boots though. I still got the polo boots. I ain't gonna lie, I still got them in my closet now.
I love that.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, I feel like social media allows us to like see some stuff I ain't never thought about. Like, you know, you see some things in South Korea or Tanzania, you know, whatever, and that gives you different thoughts, like what Black people or different other cultures doing in different places. So I love to see that, but then also I think people so money hungry that we're not creating art for the love of it like they used to back in the day. Like I feel like the songs back in like, you know, the 20th century, I'm gonna say, because I'm thinking like the 90s, 80s, 70s, like they was trying to create music. Like if it sell, but they was trying to create music.
Yeah.
You can tell because them songs are long.
Yeah.
They were milking it for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And versus now, songs might be like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe.
Not even 3. Oh my gosh.
That's including like the instrumental to fizzle out the song. So lyrics been over.
Yes. Yes. It's very frustrating. Yeah. For sure.
And you know, you throwing AI in the mix, so now people ain't even trying to create no more. So that's, man. And I remember you know, mentoring some of the youth, and I caught them trying to do that. I was like, nah, bro, we don't do that. We don't use no AI, man. You right. We write our own lyrics over here.
Yes.
So, you know. So
as an artist, are you using AI?
Nah, I mean, I would use it if not in my art. Not in my art. Only if I'm doing like administrative work type stuff, like if I needed to ask it a question about a particular area, like you know, grant writing. Okay, this grant is what type of things is this grant trying to ask me about? How can you refocus this so I can understand what they're trying to say? You know, because I don't have time to hire that person. You know, so this does help in that way. Or I might look up like, hey, what's some cool strategies I can think about for this over here? I'm trying to reframe this. So stuff like that, I might use it for, but like I said, I'm not on AI every day. You know what I'm saying? It's just here and there. So it's cool, but yeah, art, nah, we cut that out.
I feel that. As a writer, as a fellow writer, I still use my own knowledge.
Yeah. You know,
I may use it to like tweak a little stuff, something.
Right, yeah. You know,
maybe like a bigger word or just a better way to say something. But typically, it's all me.
I feel you. Yeah, you know, my core processor might not be as fast as AI, but you know, we gonna make this poem work.
Facts.
Yeah,
so, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but I was gonna say though, one thing I do notice, I think I had somebody like try to use AI to write a poem, and it used all the right literary devices and stuff, but you can tell the difference because you can feel how it lacks that human emotion element to it. And so I do feel like as the world is constantly online, constantly on social media, AI, we gonna long for that human connection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the thing. I do feel that art is gonna be around. So AI replacing a lot of jobs, but one thing you can't replace is that human connection.
Yeah,
you can't never replace that. So
facts. And I think that was a good point that you made. That is missing that human connection, because I love my voice when I write. Like my voice is so different and unique, and I write how I speak, really. So I don't know. I can't see a robot doing that.
Yeah. No, it can't pull the same. And you know, and I feel like, especially when, you know, we're multifaceted. So, you know, I know how I act around everybody isn't the same, but I also feel like that shows the different parts of me.
Yeah.
Because I may present myself differently to my grandparents, like my elders, versus my friends, versus, you know, just different cultures, whatever. Just to, you know, it just shows it's just different sides to me that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to allow myself to be. Like, you know, I can see how in the beginning I had moments where, you know, we all had to code switch and stuff like that. But now I've just been learning how can I stay myself, but still show the different sides to myself.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Absolutely. That's facts. So then what advice can you give to future Black poets and writers and stuff out here coming to terms with the things that we have transitioning us into that new wave now?
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, it's definitely being you gotta be unique to you.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be you. You can't do this for the money. Well, let me say. I mean, I am making money doing this. So I don't want to say
feel you.
money.
But you shouldn't go in thinking you're going to be rich, because I don't know a lot of rich poets.
Right, yeah. No, I definitely still want that money, though. You know, somebody contract me for like $2 billion. I'm going to take that contract. So I ain't going to gaslight y'all like that. But, I mean, I feel like I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I'm selling my soul and I can't do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's so many jobs out here. We could go into corporate America, make 6 figures, and just do what you got to do. But man, I would look at some of these jobs and just like, man, you're gonna be dead on the inside though. You know, that's 20 years of your life that you just clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
You don't think about nothing. You just go to work. That's it.
Yeah.
And I just can't see. I guess, you know, I'm 34, so I guess life just really showing me like we really only got one life.
Yeah.
Like we're only in our 20s.
You still young. I didn't know you did all of that, and you still young as heck.
Bro, listen, bro, that be. But see, the reason why though is because I feel like I have put it in my mind. I only got one life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I fail, I mean, I'm only gonna be here once anyway.
Facts.
You know? And so that was one of the reasons why we did that trip last year. Because I'm like, dude, like, first of all, I know how to work and make money. So if it don't work, I mean, we just keep going anyway. If it worked, some stuff, flip, whatever, I'm just gonna grind it out, build it back.
I know that's right.
You know, so I realized like most of the time, us traveling or doing stuff, it ain't because we can't do it. It's just we check ourselves out before we even try.
Facts.
And I think, again, it goes back to if you ain't able to be authentic to yourself, it's hard to even imagine doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 6 years ago, it was a little hard to imagine, but we was like, we want to try it. And we've been, you know, we got married in 2017, and that's been our goal since then. It's like we want to travel the world. So we planned it in a year, but really we've been planning for like 7 years, you know. And then we finally was just like, we're just going to try it. We're going to do it. And that's what our life has been. We just been trying stuff. If we fail, I guess we fail. But if we succeed, though, we can say we traveled the world. We can say we doing poetry. You know, like that's the stuff that I enjoy. And that's what I want to pass on to other people who want to do it is, but if you succeed, though, all we think about is like, man, what if I fail, though? Like, what if I don't have no money and end up on the street? And all these different things, like, first of all, I ain't never ended up on the street. I know how to work. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? I know how to go get a job. Like, I'm going to find a job, a sweep a floor, cut a grass. Like, I'm going to find something. So, being on the street, that ain't gonna happen.
Not an option.
It's not an option, you know? And so it's just like, But then we got to start putting in our mind the other side, like, what if you succeed, though? What if this actually go right? And you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about it like, again, with one life, what all would you do if you knew you wouldn't be living long? Because, I'm still hoping to live like a long life, but at the same time, we know ain't no day promise.
Yeah.
And so I think about like, if you're saying, well, I like my poetry, I like art, but I'll just wait till I'm fully like established money wise or at a good place. You might not be established till you like 70.
Facts.
And then it's like, yeah, you can still do it at 70, but you can't travel like you used to.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? You probably got all kinds of health issues. Because especially if you killed off your dream, that really settles into your physical.
Mm-hmm.
So as you dull your mind mentally and spiritually, you dull in your body. So you probably going to have issues at 70. You can't just jump back into that old spontaneous mind you had at 20, 30. And so, and stuff can still happen to me, but at least I know I'm living a life I want to live where I'm at. And because I'm doing that and I'm inspiring other people to do that, I feel like it has reaped the reward of getting me paid because I'm grinding for it. And I recognize like this is a business. So that's the last thing, I'll add to that is if you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur. And so you got to know how to do the business. It ain't just about being the best poet.
Right.
I'm probably not the best poet. I got plenty of poets that I've even trained who probably could run circles around me. But I've recognized that I don't need to try to work on my craft so hard that's all I think about. Mm-hmm. Is really, you get to a place where you good, you're a poet, you know what you're doing, you know how to put a metaphor and imagery to the page, cool. Now it's time to go, market that.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I had to learn how to do is like, I had to learn how to market myself. I had to learn how to market my art and show like I'm worth you paying, at first it was $75 and jumped up, 100, 200. I've had opportunities where people pay me thousands of dollars for it. And so, you got to get to a place where how will you market yourself, value what you have to allow somebody to pay you that and not just be like, oh, no, you don't have to pay me. Is my stuff really that good to be like $1,000? It can't be. So
when do you get to that mindset or how do you get to that mindset, do you think?
I definitely feel like kind of similar with business, right? If I'm trying to be a photographer, I could say a photographer. So photographer is pretty common. So we know if you go book a photographer, they could be anywhere starting from $200 to $500 for a shoot. So we know there's an average of what people make doing it. And so after a while, you kind of meet other people who do it. So I have mentors, in Memphis, Nashville, people I've met, and I've had a chance to kind of see what people are making. But then, you gain your skill because you got to have a skill. You can't just jump in and be like, I want to make what my mentor making. You got to produce that too, though. Mm-hmm. So I've learned from them, gain the skill. And then once I gained the skill, I was out here just whoever want to get a poem, get it because I got to get my name out there now.
Okay.
You got to know I'm worth paying that. But if you don't know me, then you probably not going to think nothing about it. So got my name out there, performing every time. And then eventually the paid gigs coming in. So now it's getting the 75s. Once the 75 start coming more consistent, now I could go up some more. It's going to dial back just a little bit. But then those $100 gonna come up. Now the $200 come up, and and you keep building up like that. So that's how I've done it, and I think it's worked out really well. So
I love that. It's a slow build, and you're starting off as a beginner. You know what I'm saying? Even though you might be doing this for a while, or you've been passionate about this for a while, you still have to start somewhere. And I think quite often we get into that space of instantaneous gratification that we think that we're just supposed to automatically be making this much right now.
Yep. Yep. I mean, and I feel like Hollywood sells it to us like that. Like we fantasize all the movies where the kid come in. I think about the probably them karate movies or whatever. Like the kid will come in, he don't know nothing, and then all of a sudden he do one little cool move, and everybody like, oh my God, he's super gifted. And then 2 weeks later, whatever, every fight movie do this. They'll have the rookie kid who came in for 2 weeks, battle the undefeated dude who been doing this since he was 2 years old.
Right.
All of a sudden he whoop him. And I be like, as a kid, you think about it, but it's like now it's like, bruh, this man ain't been doing this long. You just came in 2 weeks ago and beat him. Like he beating professionals and he can't beat you.
I didn't think about it like that, but you're so right. Rocky comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, watch every type of fight or karate movie. It be just like that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's how we are as people. We be thinking, I'm finna be like that. I'm finna be that dude who a genius, and I'm just finna jump in and beat everybody. And it's like, nah, bro, it don't work like that. It does not work like that.
Yeah.
And even the celebrities that we see, we be thinking, oh, they just blew up overnight. Like most of these folks were doing it since they were kids. Like, Michael B. Jordan, it seemed like he just came up. And, out of nowhere, it's like, nah, like if you look back, you're going to find him in some real small roles, a little bitty kid, like, oh, that's Michael right there.
No, really. I remember him on the soap operas.
Yeah. He playing a little background. He playing a little kid roles and stuff. And so you just don't notice him because he ain't really just standing out like that. But now we seeing Black Panther, Creed, all these movies. Now he there. Yeah. And so that's one thing I've been paying attention to as an artist is like what's happening to other artists. The ones who blow up quick, they had parents like Taylor Swift. Her dad bought her first 50,000 copies of an album.
Right.
So, okay, that makes sense she blow up because if I got money to buy 50,000 copies, I'm blow up too. Other people got parents, folks, whatever, got money, cool. The people who don't got it, you see like her, HER. She started when she was a kid. So you seeing, okay, these folks doing this for years, and then it builds up. Yep. They starting at 10, so no wonder, all right, it took them 10 years. Might be 10 years. So I'm saying, okay, about 10 years, if you grinding on it, you're going to see that traction. So absolutely. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. I started, 2016. So yeah, so I'm coming up on 10 years. Next year, so I'm hoping, I can be on
it's your time. It's coming.
Year,
we speaking on it. We're speaking it into existence. It's definitely coming.
Right.
As a matter of fact,
right here, be like,
absolutely. I love it. As a matter of fact, let's talk about your latest venture since it's your time. Okay.
Yeah.
You out here writing books and stuff.
Yeah. Breaking the block.
Yes, let's talk about it real quick. What is the inspiration? What is Breaking the Block about, and what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so Breaking the Block, Building a Path to Write the Story is a book that I was inspired by my 10-year, so I've been teaching for close to 10 years when it comes to creative writing. And so I've learned just a lot in teaching people what people are looking for, what they struggle with. And so I finally wanted to put that into a book, so I want to be able to take that information that I've learned, put into a book. So even if you attend my workshops or not, it's something that you can really use. Yeah. But I didn't want to just create a book just for writers. I wanted a book that could really inspire people. And so, I was helping a friend of mine and I realized, I was like, man, it's like he's having a writer's block, but with his career stuff. And that's when it hit me. I was like, what if I can use writer's block as a metaphor to address these creative blocks with it? This book, it does that. It helps people get through creative blocks. When you think about your goals, your emotional, mental blocks, you know, when you think about the things you're trying to get through to, and you realize, you know, as a writer, block is not hard to get what you're doing. You know, it's steps.
Yeah.
There are different processes that you're trying to do, and most of the time, it's multiple things that people are facing, but they think it's just one thing. Like if I want to sit down and write a poem, but I just rush through traffic. So I've been fighting traffic for about an hour. I've been at work all day. You know, it's the beginning of the month, so I got bills or, you know, car issue, all this stuff. All this is on my mind, and then I want to try to sit down and write a poem. You know, that's not gonna work. You got to give your mind space to let all that go and sit here. You know, other things I think about, like my book. One thing I put in the book was to be creativity over perfection. So a lot of people want that stuff to be perfect the first time, but perfection does not leave room for creativity because you don't want to explore. You want it to be A1. And so you have to allow yourself to explore and try different things. And because you don't let yourself do that, you have that block. So those are some of the things that, you know, I put into the book, things that I thought would be really helpful for people. And it's broken down into 3 parts. So there's the guide that helps people through those blocks. And then I give writing prompts. So, you know, think about those karate movies. When you watch them, you go home, you're like, man, I want to do some karate or something, you know, box somebody real quick. And so I think about that when, you know, talking about poetry. I figure people like to want to try writing. So the writing prompts are in there. And then the last part is my poetry. So I did include 10 poems into this book. And so I think it'll be a cool variety of things to people, so people can see the different facets of what I've produced and what they can do. So yeah.
I do love that. So just to give people a little background, I did meet Kim at one of his classes that he does at the local library. Definitely check out y'all local library, y'all. It is everything you need and more. Okay. And this was actually my first time really digging into sources from the local library. Like I've never really done that since I was a kid. So this was as an adult, this is my first city in which I really dived into the resources that the library has outside of just reading and computers. So yeah, going to your classes, I just love them so much because not only are they just informative, but they have helped me break my writer's block. And you actually are part of the reason why I started writing my latest book.
Hey,
but yes, but now I'm in a block.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't finished it. I don't have an ending for it, and so I really need this book. This came right on time because I was looking at another book by a white author. So I'm glad it's a black author out here. But I'm glad that you added in your poems in the end because for me, I like to read other people's work and then it helps inspire me. So I think that was a really great idea. Other people's work tends to inspire me and makes me want to write all the time. Jill Scott, her poetry book, oh my God, that did it for me as a teenager. So I can't imagine, you know, reading what you have and seeing how much I would be inspired.
No, that's really cool. And I'm glad to hear that it inspired you, that it helps you. Glad to hear you writing something. So I'm excited to see what you're coming out with.
Thank you. It's really good, actually. Like, I'm so excited about it because it's like one of the best things I've ever written in my life. Seriously.
You know it's fire when you could be like, yeah, I did that.
I did that. Okay. Like I did that. But I cannot end it for the life of me. So I definitely am going to get this because I need it real bad. I'm definitely in a creative block. So I've just been going back editing and stuff like that. But right now, I'm kind of in a break of trying to figure it out. So what's a little bit of advice that you can give for people who are in a creative block? I mean, obviously they should get your book, but what is a little piece of advice you can give?
Yeah, one thing I like to think about is the uh, emotional or creative expression. So, I think about how we come to this place of, back in the day, they used to have these like Rolodex for like the business cards. So you Rolodex them trying to find the right card, right? And so I feel like oftentimes we do that when it comes to our emotions, or more so what we want to say. So a lot of times we it's like our brain knows what we want to say, but we're trying to filter what we think is the best way to say it, because this might be politically incorrect, or I don't know if this will offend people, or what if it's too dark, or all these different things. And sometimes we just need to let ourselves say it and just let it out. you know like it might be a little dark. You might be right. It might actually be a little darker than what people were used to. It might be a little offensive than what people might be ready for. And that's just gonna have to be okay. And what happens is, I think, again, going to that creativity, we have to let ourselves let it out first, so we can see what it is that we've been wanting to say. Like, man, I didn't realize that's how I really feel. I just gotta, put it out there so I can really sit with, this is how I really feel. Because once you allow yourself to start saying what you really feel, it becomes easier to let the rest out. Because you don't realize, when you let that first thing out, it's got a train to it. It ain't just a single thought. It's got other stuff that's gonna come out with it once you let that first thing out, and before you know it, the rest gonna flood. And so I think, but with that, I think it comes, you have to allow yourself to learn how to express, because some of us might be good at being happy, but we've never really just shown people our anger. We felt it on the inside, but I've never been able to like say it or show it out loud, or the opposite. You know how to be angry all the time, but you may have never really just shown joy, like just true joy. You ain't faking it. You ain't you can really share that and show that joy, that love, that peace, those essential things, those more positive things. And so, I think it's something that sometimes we don't know how to get around, that emotional wheel. And so that's something also added in the book. And I think it's really important, because sometimes we can't find the right thing because we haven't tapped into the other areas of ourselves. So that's one thing I think would be really important. And once you find that, I think that, the stuff comes, it flows out. It'll flow out.
That's good. That's good advice. Can you tell us what was like your biggest barrier or challenge writing this book?
Yeah, man, I think the biggest challenge was really just thinking about how much or what all to put into it. I wanted this to be a little bit more of a quick book. I didn't want it to be too long. Initially, I was writing a book that was a little bit longer, but I'm also like, man, when it comes to the self-help stuff, I don't know if I want to be having people reading 500 pages,
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you just need something you can kind of pick up quick, get the essentials, still learn some stuff. It ain't got to be just like 5 pages, but I don't want to be a whole year trying to read your book and try to like, we don't got time for that much. And so I want, that was a challenge. I think I just allowed myself to just hit the essentials and just be okay with, whatever don't make it to this one, that could be just a part 2.
Yeah.
And what's cool is I allow this book to be in a place where it has a flow to it, but you can still open it at a random page and just start there and just kind of learn some tips from that.
I love that. Do you see yourself doing a part 2 to this?
Oh yeah. Listen.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, because I wrote this one, because I was trying to think about like what type of book to write, what direction to kind of emphasize on it, things like that. And one of my mentors is the one that dropped it in my ear to like do something that you can speak to, that shows your mastery. And so out of everything I've done, I can say like I've been teaching creative writing, about 2 years now. So I can definitely speak to that. And I know what I do works, you know. So putting myself on this road with this book, I'm like, okay, I have a area I think people can really resonate with, something that they want. And because of that, I also have 10 years of stuff that I just learned that I think I can definitely do some more stuff. So this one is more of a kind of like a general.
Okay.
Now I'm like, okay, I could probably create something a little bit more detailed. I can create something a little bit more abstract, you know, something that kind of takes a second level to it. So
Okay.
this is giving me some cool direction I think people are gonna really enjoy, and maybe do some part 2, part 3, you know, stuff like that. So yeah.
I love that. So now when it comes to creativity, what has been your favorite? Do you still like to be just a poet? Is acting really gotten you by the foot, or
Yeah.
is now
You know,
authoring your thing?
man, you know, people have been asking me that for years, and you know, I try to like jump back and forth between myself. Like, if I had to choose one, I couldn't. I love them both
I feel that.
because I love acting, but I also love using my own words. I love creating words, and so, man, you know, and that's why I think that's why I like spoken word, because spoken word is like the best combination between theatrical and poetry.
I
So,
never thought about it like that, but you're so right.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So, you know, because you have, and what we tell people is like there's poetry for the page and there's poetry for the stage. And stage poetry is what we call spoken word. And, you know, with spoken word, the difference not only is the stage, I think about the emotional piece you add to it. So with a page poem, you can just write it and emotion is just on the page. But with spoken word, as the person, I have to embody that emotion. So I can't just talk about I feel anger. I have to show that anger when I say
Yeah.
that line. And
Yeah.
then right after that, I have to show that fear,
Mm-hmm.
and then that confusion, then that frustration, you know, and I have to become the poem, you know, and that expression allows me to connect to the audience. And, you know, adding that with my theater background just like really enhances that whole experience. And I just enjoy doing that.
I
Yeah.
love that. Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you also write screenplays too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I felt like a lot of my poetry was leading to that. You know, I would kind of create more of these theatrical poems, more monologuish poems. And so I finally started thinking like, man, why don't I go ahead and just create like a show? And so, you know, because I've created like a one-man show, but I recently this year wrote a musical.
Wow.
Never thought I'd be writing a musical. I ain't
I
gonna
love musicals.
lie. Yeah, I'm more just straight theater drama, but
You
you
wrote the
know,
songs and everything.
yes,
Dang,
man,
Cam, you out
I know
here.
it's crazy. It's
You're
crazy.
so inspiring. Jesus,
And what's crazy is it's actually good. Like people really like it.
that's what's
We
up.
got to do 2 versions of it. Like I got it. This is how I knew this play was really good because I entered it into 2 contests and they got into both on the first try.
Wow.
So the first one was at Oz Arts, their Brave New Works lab, and you had to submit something that was like 20 to 25 minutes. So I created like the first act, and we got to perform that at Oz Arts. People loved it. Like the actors were reading stuff and going through stuff like, man, this is fire. And for people who don't know, like basically this is the play is called Regicide, uh, How to Kill a King.
Okay.
And it's following 5 college students who are researching how to kill a king and how that impact affects society.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the issue is the musical is comprised of rap and spoken word poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's really cool to just see those moments where, you know, we have the poetry, spoken word, and then the next piece may have an interweave of like poetry and rap. The next piece might just be poetry or just rap, you know. And so it's really cool to just see each song and piece just go along. And we did it with Oz Arts this past spring. We did it with the Ingram New Works Lab with the Nashville Repertory Theater. And so we did the full reading. And to see a room full of people, probably about 100 people or so, stayed for 2 hours to listen and watch a reading, and they were just like really into it. That was pretty cool.
That's fire. That's
Yeah,
fire. I love that. Congratulations on everything. Seriously.
thank you.
So just let the people know what you have coming up. Like what other things do you have that people can look forward to and look out
Yeah.
for?
Yeah, so coming up, I know that we have, the book is looking to release in September, and we are looking at doing so I'm calling it a Poetry Unplugged event. So this is going to be our official book release event, and this will be on the 18th of September at the Dark Horse. It's going to be part of the Shades of Black Theater Festival, and so definitely be looking for that. And we do got the workshops going back up again. I know the next one is at Richland Park Library. That'll be on the 29th. And so,
Can't wait for
come on through.
those.
Trying to, get the creative writing juices flowing. And so, yeah, you can definitely just follow us, freefyre.org, Fyre with a Y, FYRE.org, Free Fire Poetry on all platforms, just to kind of see what things we're doing in the community. We're always trying to just help people and do things. So
Yes, you definitely are. You're definitely very community oriented, and I love
yeah,
that so much. And I can't wait for all those things that you have coming up. So definitely, one more time, just let the people know where they can find you, where they can find the book, when it comes out. Just one more time.
yeah, yep. So September, Breaking the Block is coming out. You get the show Poetry Unplugged, September 18th. You can find us at freefyre.org, and then Free Fire Poetry on all streaming platforms. If you look for me specifically, Cam Speaks One on IG. And so, yes, please, follow us, take a look at some of our poetry, support the things we're doing. We really would love community support. We always appreciate it and love it. So,
Big
yeah.
facts. Love that. Kim, I want to thank you so much for coming through to We Don't Sip Tea, We Drink Wine. You've been an
Yeah.
amazing guest. Would love to have you back. For sure.
Yes, for sure. This is cool, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you for allowing me to be on here.
Yes, thank you so much. You gave such great advice, great stories. I wanted to hear more about the aerospace thing, but we didn't have time.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, what in the world?
Hey, listen. I can say this real quick. I was studying aerospace. I started like freshman in high school because my high school had a program. Went to MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University,
Oh my God.
and I was doing it, getting through it. But closer I got to graduation, the more I started to just kind of waver on really doing it.
Yeah.
So this is when I got the opportunity to study abroad in Japan. And one of my professors asked this question. He was like, if money wasn't an issue, family and friends fully supported you, what would you do? Would you still do what you're doing now? Would you change? And so it was the first time I'd ever been asked that question, not thinking about money, thinking about surviving, just you young, you got to do something for the rest of your life. And I was like, man, flying is cool, but I wouldn't be doing that all day, every day. I'd be acting, modeling, maybe traveling the world, speaking, but using poetry to, add some flavor to it. And once I admitted that to myself, it just hit me. It was like, man, I'm not really living what I want to.
Dang, you better drop that mic. I know that's right.
Yeah. So that changed it.
Thank you. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah.
A little advice for y'all. Okay.
Yeah. Come on. So,
yes. Thank you, Kim, so much for dropping through. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow, share, like, and all that good stuff. And we will see you here for another amazing episode of We Don't Sip Tea, We Drink Wine.